Welcome back to the live room. Happy Wednesday to you, Chelsea. No, I'm not a Chelsea supporter at all. I do want Pulisic to do well, but they don't play him, so he needs to leave. But yeah, Everton leads yesterday. Definitely 100% Everton. I do want to see Leeds do well. We got our two Americans, one local American, Aronson on there. But when it comes down to it, I'm a blue, man. I am a blue, for better or for worse. It's a love-hate relationship, mostly hate, a little bit of love. But that's what it is. I buy low. Buy low, sell high. That's how I get down. But welcome back. Hopefully sell high. Either that or stay in the trade with no stop loss and then let my kids inherit the debt. That's what it kind of feels like sometimes, where my kids are both Everton fans and they don't understand yet that we're bad. So it's like one day they're going to be in a conversation and they're going to realize that, man, we just took on dad's debt. And now we're too deep in, right? The trade has moved too far against us to get out. So we just gotta load up our position and add more, right? That's what we got to do. We're so deep in, we can't bail. We just got to put more money in and add more. I'll tell you how I came across the Toffees real quick. But for you guys logging in, we do have some news coming out today. I did find out something about the news that I was curious about for a while now that brought me some closure. And we do have a handful of trading opportunities, man. If you saw the chat this morning, I shot a bunch in there. Yesterday was a little bit dull aside from the advanced pattern formations. We got some pretty interesting setups today. We got some breakouts. We got some continuations. We got some stuff on silver and gold as well. So it should be an interesting day. I became a Toffee fan because of the Americans. So when I first got into European soccer, right, in the Premier League, right, it was after a World Cup. They didn't really show it over here in the States back then, and they kind of just got the contract and started showing Premier League matches. And I was a fan of soccer. Like, our domestic leagues weren't too popular. They weren't on TV either, so there's nothing really to watch. So when I started watching the Premier League, I found the team that had the Americans that I knew. And Everton happened to be that team. They had about two at the time. And I knew those Americans from our World Cup. So I said, hey, let's support these because I want to support the Americans. And then I ended up falling in love with the team and the story about, kind of blue collar, hardworking people from Liverpool and stuff like that. And that's kind of right up my alley. So that's how I started supporting Everton. In general, though, I do look for the teams that have. I try to support all the teams that have Americans on them, just because we're in the minority in top flight soccer. So I want to see us do well because we don't have that many, or at least at the time, we didn't really have that many breakout stars. So we got more now. I don't want to say breakout stars, but we got solid players. But I want to see them do well because the better they do, the better our U.S. national team can do. So yeah. And then Leeds, we have Brandon Aronson, who they just signed. He was a Philadelphia Union player, who's my home team. So I want to, again, I support him wherever he goes. I do kind of like Leeds style as well. Like, they hustle hard. And we got the American head coach, right? The real life Ted Lasso. But anyway, let's get started here. So this is the end of the month, last day of the month. Be careful of that. Things get a little bit wacky on the last day of the month with positioning, reorganizing, and spreadsheet balancing or statement balancing and stuff like that. It is also the first week, right? Or we're going into the first week of a new month and the first Friday, which means we have, what does that mean? What's first Friday mean? Aside from the neighborhood gatherings that we have out here where I live, where we have a good time and live music and all the fun stuff. Non-farm payroll. Now, this is interesting, right? We've always said this. There's typically a precursor to the non-farm payroll that comes out Wednesday at 8:15, right? It is the ADP employment change. And two things have been interesting about this news event. One, it hasn't been lining up with the non-farms, right? Typically, the market uses this survey to kind of get an idea of what the non-farms is going to be. So if we get a good number on Wednesday, we're projecting a good number on Friday. That was not necessarily the case over, let's just say this year. I don't remember how long it went back, but this year it's been kind of odd because we've been watching this very closely. And then the most surprising thing, and I don't know if you guys remember this, last month it disappeared. Do any of you guys remember that session we had where we came in here and I'm like, hey, ADP not here? What happened? I'm like, did they change the month around? Did they forget about it? And it was something that was weird to me. I did a quick little search to try to figure out, but I didn't really invest a lot of time because honestly, I don't really care. It doesn't affect really much of my trading. But I was just curious. And what I did find out today is this, and I'll read you a little bit of a blurb here. It says the ADP private payroll survey is back after a couple months in which the payrolls processor worked to iron out some of the quirks in its methodology, which had undermined its usefulness as an advanced guide to the official labor market report. So essentially what happened is, as we recognized, it wasn't really playing the role that it was supposed to play. Now, there's, you can go down the conspiracy theory hole if you want. We'll leave that aside for today. But essentially, it wasn't projecting the non-farms the way that it typically does. So they kind of reworked the methodology behind it. I don't know what they did, but they hopefully reworked it in a way that, I guess, has it come back to do what it was supposed to do? I don't know. It's all a little bit weird, but it answers the question of why it was gone. Now, what will be interesting today is, we always want to, we know the non-farms is going to be an important number. It'll be interesting to see how important this is today with a reworked number. If the market kind of doesn't care because it's a new formula or whatever, or if it does care, and then whether it will or not, who knows? I have no idea. But I did find that to be a little bit interesting. Chris says they're at it again. They're changing definitions again, just saying. Well, and that goes again. I don't want to go too much into the conspiracy theory hole, Chris, but what you notice. So here's the thing. Here's the smoke and mirrors. We talk about smoke and mirrors both on the technical side of trading, where the majority of what you see on your price chart is absolutely pointless, and it's just to confuse you and trick you into doing stuff that you don't need to do. The same thing happens in fundamental analysis as well. And what's interesting is that the numbers, let's put it this way, they will show you what they want you to see. So kind of a most recent example, I think, was the last 2 months of was it I'm not sure if it was non-farms or something else, but basically, I think it was non-farms. Basically, in one instance, the numbers were leaked early because they wanted you to have a good idea that, hey, this is what's going to happen, prepare for it. In another instance, nothing came out, and it happened to be not as good of a number, right? At the same time, and here's a thing for you. What else happens with the non-farm? So we get our non-farm number every first Friday. What else comes out with that number that isn't talked about? Which in a sense is probably more important. Anybody know? Anybody know what comes out with the non-farms? It kind of, you get your big number, your big explosive, boom, right? Number, smoke, birds, flashing lights, glitter. And then while all that's happening, something else slides underneath, right? Nope. It's the revision. Unemployment rates too, yeah. It depends on how much people care about that. But yeah, unemployment rates, average hourly earnings, all that stuff could be important as well, depending on what we're paying attention to. Unemployment actually is pretty important right now. Keep an eye on that going forward. That will be more important, in my opinion, as soon as we start making this shift to see if we're going into a recession or not. That's going to gain importance. But the revision. So what they do is they revise, excuse me, they revise the previous month's number. And some of these revisions are crazy, where you'll get this massive number that comes out and makes everyone happy or drives everyone crazy. And then next month they'll be like, after we revised it, the number actually wasn't that good. But no one cares about them because you got a new number, a new shiny thing to pay attention to. So it's interesting how they they do this stuff. So I thought the same thing, Chris, when I first saw, wait a minute. So they just stopped, they just stopped releasing a report and they're going to redo the calculations and then put in a new one. Huh. I mean, I've only been trading for like 16 years. I've never seen anything like this, but maybe it's a normal thing and it just doesn't happen too often. But like as soon as it stops telling them what they want to hear, I don't know. But found it was interesting. It did answer the question that we had about why that report was missing. I wasn't going crazy, so now I can sleep peacefully. So let's get to the charts here. What do I want to look at for the trade today? We got bear flag, we got bear bat, we got butterfly, we got some breakouts. Let's go to pound dollar. Let's go to the cable. I'm going to hide this row. I'm going to replace this range bar chart real quick. We're going to visit it in a little bit. But let's go to the cable real quick and let's look at the pound dollar. Cody, are you still looking for shorts on this? Are you still looking for shorts here? Because we've got an interesting setup on the pound dollar. And this is going to be more of a day trading situation, although I suppose it could be both. So bigger picture pound dollar, right? We have, right, pushed below our previous level of structure. We've done that for a little bit. We're kind of slowly dripping down there, but there's still room to go. Now, our previous level of structure here is very interesting, right? You can see we have a VS1 level a little bit lower, but we're coming in towards these previous lows, and it's very hard to pinpoint. This is the trouble we've had higher time frame wise. Very hard to pinpoint where in this zone we're likely to go to. Are we going to test the extreme lows? Are we going to test somewhere in the zone? We don't actually know. So from a higher time frame perspective, it's a little bit harder because that risk reward is going to be a lot more, and you want to make sure that is legit. But from a lower time frame, right, it's going to offer a massive amount of opportunity. We have our directional prediction, right, based on what we identify in the market, right? We're looking for potential shorts. And now the question is, how can we potentially get short? Really quick, before we just kind of a brief pause. When we go over to euro dollar, you're going to see the exact same thing of this on the euro dollar right now. A nice bear flag. Only difference is the euro dollar broken close below. So keep an eye out for that. But we're going to go down to our lower time frames. We're actually going to go down. It's going to be more of a day trading opportunity, right? So similar to what, for you guys, I saw the video I did yesterday, similar to that type of deal. And we're going to look to see if there's any opportunities to get short. So the first thing we need to happen is we need to see a violation of this current level of structure, right? We can see that right here. Now, any other clues that you guys see in the market? Any other clues? This is an hourly chart, so we have about 15, 16 minutes before our deal closes here. Let me just type in my notes that we're starting off with pound dollar. GBPUSD. So we did a news briefing first. Happened to ADP. George says lower low, lower close, big wicks on the top. Big wicks on the top. Yeah. And what is the story that those big wicks on the top tell us? What does that tell us about the market here? What clues does that leave? And again, this is the difference between being someone that has the ability to read a price chart and understand these little things versus someone that looks at this and says, well, these candles are really pointless. They're not one of the 5 major candlestick pattern formations that everyone teaches, so they're pointless. Well, it tells us where the pressure's at, right? We have bearish movement here, right? And then we can tell that, hey, the bulls are trying to fight this thing back up, as they should at previous structure, right? That's exactly what we would expect as we come to a previous level of structure. They're trying to fight this thing back up, but so far, they've been defeated. On Jason Greystone's session this morning, we looked at the start of a pattern as well as FTB. Yeah, was there a valid FTB on the? I was thinking about that this morning. Was there a valid FTB on the pound dollar this morning? Follow the bear strategy for you guys who are not familiar with the letters. follow the bear. It is a bearish trading strategy from Jason Greystone that only happens on the pound dollar. I guess you can test it on other pairs as well. No, only, yeah, pound dollar only, I believe. Yep. And it only happens within what, like a 4-hour period? It's during my nighty night time. So, and the euro. Okay, there we go. Euro dollar and pound dollar. I knew it was more than one. And then what is it, a 4-hour period? Yep, 6 to 10 a.m. So while I'm fast asleep. So I've never tested it. I've never even looked at it, never wasted any time on it, because I don't like wasting time on stuff that is pointless to me. But from working with you guys and people who have traded in the past, man, it looks pretty nice. Not too frequent, but when it happens, it happens. It's a little tool to add to your arsenal. So check it out if you're someone that's in the UK or you know, I guess Australia as well, anywhere where you're around during that time. But yeah, so nice clues. So far, a nice fight back on this candle right here. Again, about 14 minutes. About 14 minutes before this closes, but good clues so far. So we're going to eventually go down to our lower time frames, our day trading time frames, and eventually our range bar, because I think that gives us the best interpretation of the market, and see, is there an opportunity to get short, and what would we need to happen? So let's go back to our range bar chart. We're going to start on a 13 range, which is going to be equivalent to a 15-minute chart here. And again, if you guys are unfamiliar with what a range bar chart is, just let me know. I don't mind explaining. I love them. I love them very much. And you can see the range bar just gives us a little bit of a different interpretation of the market, a little bit more ebby and flowiness, right? You can see we had a previous structure low right here. We ended up violating that. Here was the first pullback. What we would be looking for now is two different things. Again, this depends on your trading style. Yesterday, you saw me take an aggressive trade on a breakout. So boom, if you're a breakout trader, as soon as well, I guess if you're a super aggressive breakout trader, you can put a sell stop, right underneath that level. That's a little bit too aggressive for me. I want to see confirmation of a break, but that would be the first level of aggression, the most aggressive way you can handle it. Put a sell stop order, and as soon as that level is violated, pow, you're in the trade. What would be the next kind of more conservative, aggressive way of entering a breakout? By the way, if you guys watching the live stream, do me a favor, hit that like button, please. I said please, so you have to do it, right? If not, feel guilty for the rest of your life. Yep. Lower low, lower close would be a good one. Yep. You get confirmation of the breakout, right? Now, if you're going to enter a lower low, lower close, where do you think a good place to place a stop loss would be at? Yes, I'm putting you guys to work. You guys know my teaching style. I'm not just going to come in here and give you the answers. You got to work for it. You got to work for it. Where would you guys feel comfortable putting stop loss? Above the previous outside return? This one right here, George? Or are you talking about this big boy up here? Small one or tall one? Let's put it that way. Small or tall? Small or tall? Small one. Yeah. I think this is a decent level. And you see you're not going to have a lot of risk in there. You're looking at, what is this, 1606s, 1610s, wherever this would end up closing at. You're looking at 1640s up here. And we saw in the higher time frame a lot of movement to the downside. We can even look at using our Fibonacci tools to get a clear projection, right? Let's take a Fibonacci extension from our swing high here to our swing low there. And back up. Let's say you want to use fibs for your targets, right? You have a 127 right here. You're going to have a 1618 a little bit lower. So again, if you're just projecting something like this, yeah, maybe that's going to give you inverse risk reward. So maybe a 127 isn't going to be good enough for you if you're doing a breakout. A 1618 would definitely give you a lot of room down at 1540s. And again, going back to our minute chart. Nope, wrong chart, sorry. Minute chart here. If we look back at that higher level of structure from the hourly, we do ABCs as well. Yep, good idea. Don't put a question mark. Have confidence. No question mark. Confidence, confidence, confidence. Don't like question marks. Either be confidently right or confidently wrong. That's my opinion. Maybe not the best advice in the world in all aspects of life, but confidently right or confidently wrong. Give me a second here. I just there we go. Which that level is at 115.40 was the start of our VS1. 115.40s. 1540s, 1540s, 1540s. All right. So 115.40s up right around this 1618. So 1618 would be a decent place. Maybe get a little bit above it. We're at 115.35, a little bit above it, 115.40s. That's the start of our VS1 level. And that's going to be a solid risk reward ratio for you, shooting for that level. Now let's put in our AB equals CD. Be bold, right? Sounds like a beer commercial. Modelo, be bold. Oh, look at that. Almost right down there. So maybe you want to be, I was talking to a trader this morning about Jacob about being conservative or aggressive and how there's no real wrong answer to it, wrong or right answer. It's all about your perspective. It's honestly about your analysis, right? But let's say, that ABCD is important to you. You want to get a little bit higher. Boom. Hey, just adjust those bad boys up a little bit. You still got a good risk reward. And then just like in the Dollar Canada video that we did yesterday, right? Don't be afraid to roll those stops, right? Don't be afraid to roll those stops. Real quick, got two questions. James says fib inversion there as well. Watched it yesterday, but I'm kind of sick, so I don't remember it. Man, was my analysis that bad it made you sick? Was me getting stopped out of that trade that bad that it made you sick, James? Gosh, come on, man. Here's your fib inversion, 1618, 157. It did kind of make me sick because price ended up rolling up. We didn't quite get the targets real quick. Let me just go back to Canada. It would have made me. Well, we did 131.20s right below it. Oh, I was at 131.23. So this would have made me even more sicker, right? As it tickled it, but probably wouldn't have got filled. But I would have been out of this because this was overnight anyway. But that was the one from yesterday. If you guys didn't see it, check out the video. Some old school day trading action. But real quick, got the question. Hey, coach, I've been meaning to ask, how can someone survive financially while being a full-time trader? Most importantly, never taking money out of their trading account. What am I missing here? Ooh, I have an answer. Do you guys have an answer to that? I'll read it again. Good question. How can someone survive financially while being a full-time trader and most importantly, never taking money out of their trading account? A trading account. What am I missing here? James says, marry someone with a successful business. Yes, marry into wealth. Marry into wealth. That is the answer. Yep. Doll yourself up, make yourself all attractive, do your little mating dance, and land the big fish. That used to be my go-to line in the bar. Like, hey, my name's Akil. What's your bank account look like? How much debt you got? No. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. Too much debt. Girl, call me when you clean up that debt. Risk management and money management. Nope. So risk management, money management isn't going to help because again, we can't take money out of our account. The answer is simple. One or two things. One, so we got a private Q&A session as usual on Mondays, and we broke down kind of the journey of a trader who is going on this. He saved up money and can survive 2 years. So one, you can plan your route, plan your nest egg, and put money to the side where you can survive financially. And you may have to live, you probably will have to live below your means or right at your means. Definitely not above. But you can put money to the side. And that way you can learn the skill of trading, develop the skill of trading, continue to grow your account, grow your businesses or whatever out of it. while not needing to worry about taking money out of your trading account to survive. That's one. Two, supplemental income. Supplemental income, right? Don't trade full time until you can afford it. And here's the thing. Here's what people don't understand, right? Is trading full time and having trading being the only source of income the same thing? Daniel says make a business out of your trading. Yep. I think this is where many people get confused, because people assume that I'm a full-time trader. That means I can't do anything else. And that's stupid. If you think like that, I'm not calling you stupid, but the idea is stupid. Because if you think about wealth in general, right? Wealth creation, wealth development, wealth building, right? Think about the super successful, wealthy individuals. Do they only do one thing? Do any of them only do one thing? Right? Yes, they have their full-time thing, right? They're working full-time, right? But isn't there money making money in other places? Yeah, multiple streams of income. And this is another thing, right? We're kind of the word full-time, and COVID kind of helped us kind of push forward. COVID helped us, it was horrible, don't get me wrong, but it pushed us forward a lot because we're stuck in our ways. What is full-time, right? For the longest time, we define full-time as what? A 9 to 5, right? If you're a full-time worker, right? You work a 9 to 5. Am I correct? That is a full-time job. But let me ask you guys this, and we have more countries now. I think the UK is about to do this. Let me know if I'm wrong. We have more countries experimenting with, what is it, the 4-day work week, right? So if you can accomplish your normal 9 to 5, 5 days a week, if you can do that same thing in 4 days out of the week, are you still full-time? Right? Should the word full-time be centered around a specific amount of hours that you work, right? If I can accomplish the same thing, if I can accomplish in 4 hours the same thing that someone does in 8 hours, am I not a full-time worker? So I think that's the first thing. We need to kind of shift our mindset on that, because guess what? Like, full-time is basically, my opinion of full-time is that you're treating something like a job. You're investing the correct amount of time into whatever you're supposed to be doing on a consistent basis. So if you are a day trader, right, and your day trading hours are 3 hours a day, you're a full-time day trader. You don't have to be in front of your chart 12 hours a day. I would highly recommend against it. But you are a full-time day trader. So you can easily have a quote unquote regular job, a side hustle, and still be a full-time trader. Because for me, full-time trading is you being consistent in your trading action. If you're trading 3 hours a day, day trading, and you're supposed to be doing it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you're doing it every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The hobbyist is someone where it's like, oh, I'm going to do it today, and then I might do it like next week, then I might do it a month after that, right? So that wouldn't be full-time. That's kind of someone that's kind of just dibbling and dabbling in it. So full-time is different than only source of income. Those are two completely different things. Because no one that has wealth, no one only has a single source of income. You don't get wealthy that way, right? You get wealth. Wealth is defined by time, right? So by definition, it is essentially impossible to get wealthy with only one source of income, right? Because if you only have one source of income and it's from your quote unquote job, and you stop doing that, then there's no more income. There's no more time, right? It just depletes. Wealth is when your money is making money for you, when you can still achieve, right, what you want to achieve financially without actually quote unquote doing the work. Because you can last a certain period of time that defines your wealth without actually doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Right? That's how you maintain wealth, I guess you should say. You can be wealthy, but it will deplete if you don't do anything. If you want to kind of maintain your wealth, you put yourself in a position where that money is becoming a machine and it's working for you. So back to the question, how can you be a full-time trader without touching your account? Have other sources. have other income streams. And it could be staying with your regular job. It could be picking up a side job. It could be having other investments, right? So what I did when I used to day trade, I had two trading accounts. I had my swing trading account and my day trading account. I never wanted to touch my swing trading account. Every once in a while I had to, but I never wanted to touch my swing trading account. I use my day trading account as the account which I'm allowed to take money out and pay for stuff I need to pay for. Right? So I had two different sources there. But you can be a Lyft driver. You can be an Uber driver. You can, I had a buddy of mine that I worked with a long time ago who was, here's a really good story. So he was on the path, he wanted to become a full-time trader, but he didn't do it right away. So he was working a full-time job, 9 to 5. And as we were talking, he developed the skill of trading. He's like, Akil, I really want to get out of this job. I'm getting up there in age. Like, it's time to kind of transition. But he wanted to make sure he was good first, as he should. So what happened was he studied, he worked on his craft. And then one year, right, he cut his hours. He said, you know what, I'm going to go from 40 hours a week to 35 hours a week. I'm not sure how he did. If he did, I think he took like an extra day off or something like that. And what he did was, as his trading started producing profit, he started transitioning to more trading hours and less job hours. Then the year after that, unfortunately, I guess not unfortunately, but his job was doing cuts, right? People were getting laid off. And instead of being fearful, he looked at this as an opportunity. He went to his boss. He said, hey, I'm willing to take half my hours, because he was ready to transition anyway. It was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because he was kind of nervous about doing it. And this was kind of like the sign. We all get that sign in life where like something happens that forces us to make a decision. And sometimes it's the decision that we know we should make, but we don't necessarily make it. And this was it for him, where he was like, hey, my job's going to cut hours anyway. I'm probably going to be one of the ones getting cut because I'm older. So he went up to his boss, said, hey, I'm going to cut my hours in half. And he used those extra time to focus more on his trading. So his trading slowly started to make up for the income that he was making from his regular job. So eventually he got fully out of it and went full-time trading, only source of income. Well, I don't know if it's the only source, but his main source of income, I should say. I'm sure he had other things going on for him, but it was a nice transition out. So you can certainly do that, right? But yeah, I'm a believer in always having multiple sources of income. I have multiple sources of income, right? One of the reasons teaching is great, right? Obviously, I get to help people and stuff like that, but it is the business. It allows me to make money, which stops me from taking money out of my trading accounts, right? So moral of the story is, and when we talk about full-time trading, don't necessarily think that full-time trading means you're not allowed to do anything else. That is preposterous, right? You should be wanting to do other things, obviously things that you like, but you don't need to rely 100% on your trading for your income, because if that's the case, you're going to need a really, 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 really big account. Laura says, my transition starts today, just being made redundant literally 2 hours ago. Laura was listening to this session and quit the job. Akil said, Ryan says, full-time trading, not full-time trading. I like that. Good one. Real quick on YouTube. So basically, at any given point, we should not rely on trading to pay the bills. You can. I think it's risky. You can. Here's the thing. If you ever, in order to make more money in trading, what do you need to do? And yes, there is the uncertainty of trading, especially, if you're a day trader, it's a little bit more kind of predictable. But as a swing trader, you actually never know what you're going to make each month, right? But what do you need to do in order to make more money in trading? It's not trade more. It's not, right, have a higher win percentage. You need to have a bigger account, right? We work on percentages. If you average 40% return on investment per year, right, and you want to make more money, right, 40% on a $100,000 account is going to be more than 40% on a $5,000 account. So you need to grow your account balance. in order to grow your account balance, right? It's kind of like the again, principles of wealth, right? If you want to make money, spend less than you earn, right? Spend less than you earn, and your bank account will grow. It's pretty simple. Same thing with trading, right? If you remove less than what you earn, your account will grow. If you remove more than what you earn, your account will shrink. If you remove exactly what you earn, your account will stay the same. So if you have to rely on all of your profits, if you have to remove all your profits every month, quarter, whatever it may be, you're going to be spinning on a hamster wheel. You're never going to go anywhere because your account's never going to grow. And the only way for you to make more money is to become a significantly better trader. And in all honesty, like, we become better as traders, but not that much, right? Like, I'm a 55% trader, right? I may, like, on my hot months, I'll go to 60. I'm never going to be a 70% trader. There's just not, my system isn't what my system is. It's not gonna magically produce like a 15% better return or better win rate. I'll get better here and there, reducing, better stop placement, better target taking, risk management, stuff like that. You will improve, but it's not going to be super drastic. You're not going to go from a 40% trader to an 80% trader. That's just, there's a ceiling somewhere. It's kind of like an indicator or an oscillator that works within like a spectrum, like the RSI, for example, that works between 100 and 0. The closer you get to 0, the harder it is to get there, right? So the idea is you need to grow your trading account. So the goal should be, how can I grow my trading account as efficiently and as quickly as possible? And there's two ways. One, don't touch the money that's in it. Let that money work. Two, have supplemental income that allows you not to touch that money, or that you can actually continue to put into that trading account. Again, as a new trader, what I would do is, even if I'm super good at trading, I would continue to work my 9-to-5 job. And then I would continue to work on my personal finances, and any extra money that I have, I'm flushing it back into my trading account, because I want to grow that trading account as quickly as possible. Because the faster I grow that trading account, the more money I'll make. And then eventually, when you get to a certain threshold, then you're making enough money on a regular basis that you no longer have to do that side job or regular job. And now you produce enough money that you can take enough out to pay the bills, and it doesn't really hurt you, right? You're still capturing enough profit to grow your account, even with removing some. So that is the ultimate goal. Real quick, back to the charts. What's Cody talking about? ADP in 7 minutes. Yeah. We should pay attention to that, right? The new ADP. But real quick, I did get a chart question before we shut this thing down. Very good question. Old user 2. Whatever happened to old user 1? Hey, Akil, I have a question on this sell setup. If you were looking for targets based on structure, where do you think price can go? Down to the VS1 level that we talked about earlier. The VS1 level that we saw on the daily, that's going to be about around, was it 115.40s, around that area. And that's where we're looking for. Again, it's a tough zone because we're at that bottom V reversal, and there's no, it's all a danger zone, but the start of that VS1 level is a good target level. We do have confluence with the 1628 Fibonacci retracement there as well. And again, we have that ABCD a little bit higher. So I think that's a good level to shoot for. So good conversation. Live streamers, you're going to get the boot. Make sure you check out the Trading Coach podcast episode that came out today. It's called Win the Day Before It Begins. Not necessarily trading related, but kind of trading related, more productivity and success related in general. So give that a listen. And I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 7:30 a.m. New York. Live rumors. Real live rumors, not these fake live rumors on the live stream. Do you guys have any questions about pound dollar before we move on to the next opportunity?